may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, guys, I really need your opinion. I know that a lot of people have been asking us if we're going to be doing a draft kit this upcoming year for the NFL draft and also for our fantasy drafts once we get closer to the season. And the answer to that is yes, 100% we are going to have some kind of draft kit coming out. Now, the way we do it, that's where I'm going to have a problem. Because, traditionally, people just come out, make a draft kit and go, hey, give me $60 and here's the draft kit, blah, 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 blah. Where I don't necessarily like that idea. I don't want to be charging someone individually $60 just for draft rankings, just for that. What I would rather do is I would rather continue to try to build our community and continue to try to grow the foundational support of this channel. So would y'all like it if instead I just made the draft kit exclusive to Patreon members, where if you're already supporting the show on Patreon or if you decide to do so in the future, you'll have access to the draft kit there? Or would you like me to do a separate sale of the draft kit? Just get a website, write it up, whatever it will may be. Obviously, you're going to get more information about it. You will get screenshots. You will get exactly the concept of what exactly it will be later on in the off season. But please let me know, just because I want to start making these feelers. I want to start kind of assessing what I need to be doing and if we should just be going with it over on Patreon. But that should be it, guys. Now, what we are going to be doing in this video is we are going to be going through and we're going to be looking at current running backs that would be higher in our 2021 rankings, yet we have to question, are they going to have this starting job on lock after the NFL draft? Because we know there are a ton of running backs coming in. It's not like 2020, but you still have some appealing guys like Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Kenneth Gainwell. And then we know, of course, there are going to be some running backs that come out of nowhere like we see every single season. So let's just go through some running backs right now that look like they have the starting job in their backfield, and let's talk about the probability of them starting this season as the full-time starter and maintaining that job throughout the entire year. Now, of course, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment telling me I'm stupid, and subscribe to the channel. Now, the first running back we're going to be talking about is going to be Melvin Gordon. So Melvin Gordon did not even make our top 24 running backs until after NFL free agency, until after Philip Lindsay went to the Houston Texans, and it looked like Melvin Gordon is going to be the starting running back guaranteed for the Denver Broncos. Now, what we can say here is, Melvin Gordon has not looked like himself in years. He is 28 years old. And you see this all the time at the running back position. I mean, it's the quickest position to fall off, and it's just the nature of it. A, you need to maintain that athleticism. B, you need to take a beating over and over and over again. I mean, guys, literally just put yourself in the shoes of an NFL running back. Put yourself in the shoes of someone running as fast as they can in a straight line and then getting hit by another man that weighs 330 pounds running at you as fast as he can, and then doing that 20 times a game for years and years and years. That's why you see these running backs fall off so quickly. If that happened to me one time, I'm not joking. They would carry me out on the stretcher. I would probably be taken to the local hospital where I would later pass away. So you've seen the drop-off with efficiency from Melvin Gordon with his later career. And now we are looking at a situation in Denver where this team doesn't have a quarterback, but outside of that, they don't really have many holes. Yes, you can look at the defensive side of the ball and say they can go somewhere over here with their first few draft picks. But on the offensive side, they have a good offensive line. They have quite possibly one of the best group of young wide receivers in the entire NFL. They've gone back-to-back drafts addressing the tight end position in Noah Fant and Albert O. So really, you're either going to be looking at this team doing anything they can to get up and get a quarterback that they would actually be interested in, or what else are they going to do? Go defensive side of the ball or go running back? The running back position is really the only spot you could see this team going in the NFL draft. And now if you go to their draft capital, it's very average. I mean, they have the 9th pick. Obviously, you would never expect a running back to go off there. Once you see a guy like Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers all fall to the second round last offseason, I think that kind of sets the precedent going forward of where you should be expecting these running backs to go in the NFL draft. So we would never expect the Denver Broncos to take whatever running back they'd be interested in at that 9th overall selection. But once you get to the 40th once you get to the 71st, once you get to the 114th, that's where we can have the conversation. Because with that 40th pick, there's a chance that Najee Harris, there's a chance that Travis Etienne is still there. And I know a lot of people are going to hear that and go, Mason, there's no chance that's going to happen. Those running backs are clearly the top 2 backs in the class. And I'll say, yes, that's true. I think they're in their own tier ahead of Javonte Williams. But still, at the same time, like I said, last offseason, you saw DeAndre Swift. You saw Cam Akers. You saw Jonathan Taylor. In my opinion, all running back prospects that are superior to what we have with Travis Etienne and Najee Harris coming into the NFL. And they went around this pick. They went around the 40th overall selection. So I think there is a decent chance that Najee Harris or Travis Etienne make it to that early second-round pick for the Denver Broncos. Now, the chances of them actually selecting a running back there, in my opinion, are going to be pretty low. But where I think you actually have a chance of this team going running back is going to be with that early third-round pick with that 71st overall. And it just makes so much sense for this team to go out there and take a Kenneth Gainwell in the third or possibly take a Chuba Hubbard in the fourth because they don't have the depth behind Philip Lindsay. In one of our recent Dynasty videos on the Dynasty channel, I started talking about Royce Freeman just because this is a backfield that outside of Melvin Gordon has nothing in it right now. So I think while a lot of people want to get excited because it looks like Melvin Gordon's going to have no choice but to be a feature down running back in Denver, I think it's probably going to be likely that this team brings in a running back in the third or fourth round. And with the recent drop-off that we've had from Melvin Gordon, I think we would see this kind of turn back into that running back by committee that you had with a Philip Lindsay. So by no means should we be drastically dropping Melvin Gordon down our rankings. He's still a riser from after NFL free agency, but he's not out of the woods yet. Okay, so now let's bring up our next running back. And okay, I hate to say this, but Raheem Mostert is looking pretty safe right now, to be completely honest. Okay, so he is listed as the number 1 running back for San Francisco. And y'all know I hated Raheem Mostert last season, before the NFL draft, after the NFL draft, before fantasy drafts, during the season. He was never my guy. But now you're looking at him and you're going, okay, he is the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers team. And yes, this is a very talented roster with not that many team needs. But with their recent trade with Miami, moving up to that 3rd overall pick, they have given up so much NFL draft capital over the next few years. We understand that the running back position is a luxury position, especially when you have Kyle Shanahan calling plays, and his scheme really doesn't make you have that Ezekiel Elliott, that David Johnson, that Saquon Barkley type athlete. So Raheem Mostert, someone that hasn't come close to our top 24 running backs yet, but the more we look at it, we go, hey, it's pretty likely he's going to be the starting running back in San Francisco, and even if I'm not in love with him, this team just simply doesn't have the capital to go out there and make that many moves around him. Okay, so now our next running back, definitely a big-time riser, making it through NFL free agency, is going to be Myles Gaskin. Okay, so yes, Miami was one of those teams that I was worried about bringing in Aaron Jones. I was worried they were going to bring in a Kenyon Drake. Because this team had a ton of cap space to go along with this, we know that this team has decided to avoid investing into the running back position over the past few years, and the pieces are on line now. They have played it very smart, where now this is a roster with way more talent across the board than we have seen in over the past 3 seasons. To go along with this, why I am extremely worried about Myles Gaskin is within the top 100 picks, the Miami Dolphins have the 6th overall pick, where obviously they're not taking a running back. But then they have the 18th, where you could see them falling in love with a Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. Personally, I think it would be a little bit of a reach on either one of those running backs, but who knows what Miami's thinking. And the pick that is very likely to be a running back if they get a Travis Etienne or a Najee Harris falling there is going to be their 36th pick. Then they had the 50th overall pick and the 81st overall pick, where maybe you don't want a Najee Harris or a Travis Etienne with the 36th, but if you get to the 81st and you have a Javonte Williams there, or even at the 50th pick, I mean, there are going to be multiple chances for the Miami Dolphins to go out there and spend that luxury pick on a running back. And when you have so much NFL draft capital in the 2021 draft, combined with the fact that you have extra firsts coming down the line with that San Francisco trade. So you don't necessarily have to worry about investing into a running back now and then not having the capital later on to continue to invest in the defensive side of the ball. I think that while Myles Gaskin looks like if he is indeed the starter for Miami this upcoming season, he should be an impact fantasy player. I mean, he has a lot of bullets to dodge in this upcoming NFL draft. Okay, so now our next guy, we're going to briefly mention him, is going to be Mike Davis, who surprisingly kind of won NFL free agency, going over to the Atlanta Falcons, a team that decided to feature Todd Gurley. And y'all know, if y'all were following the channel during this season, every single video I was making, I was just saying, Todd Gurley's a bum, sell Todd Gurley. Somehow Todd Gurley got a lucky 2-touchdown week this week. Now sell him for whatever you can get. He's averaging like 3 yards per carry. And that spoke to the fact that Todd Gurley was not a talented running back, but this offense is going to be productive. We've seen time and time again, because you have Julio Jones, because you have Calvin Ridley, you can space the field for these running backs underneath to not only see targets out of the backfield, but also to go up against non-stacked boxes. They're going to be going up against light boxes continuously. So it's a very nice destination for any running back going there. Mike Davis gets the draw. Now, I will say the Atlanta Falcons have the 4th overall pick, and no, we would not be expecting a running back to be going there. But there have been multiple conversations happening that the Atlanta Falcons may trade back from this 4th overall pick. And if you see anything close to the haul that Miami got at number 3, you would expect the Atlanta Falcons to be picking up multiple extra picks in this 2021 NFL draft, combined with future draft assets to go along with that. So then you'd be saying, okay, this team, yes, as it stands, it's not like they are Miami where they just have pick after pick after pick, but still they can make some moves to pick up those extra assets. And even as they sit, they're still in a range to go out there and invest into the running back position, where they have that 35th overall pick, which is going to be the perfect range for a Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. This is the exact range that we were talking about. Or possibly they go with a Javonte Williams, a Kenneth Gainwell with that 68th overall pick. And then they also have the 108th overall and then 3 fifth-round picks. So by no means is Atlanta coming out of this draft without a running back. The question is, what running back are they going to be taking? How high are they going to be investing into him? And how many touches do they want to give him year one? Because right now it looks like Mike Davis may be a feature down running back, as crazy as that sounds. But I think that this is another guy that probably not going to lose the job outright. But I think similar to Melvin Gordon, maybe you're going to see a running back brought in on day 3 to split the backfield. Okay, so now let's bring up our next running back. And I will admit, I was a little bit more pessimistic about him at the beginning of this video. But when we did the research, now I am very excited. It's going to be Chase Edmonds. Okay, so obviously Kenyon Drake going to Las Vegas looks like it's going to give the opportunity for Chase Edmonds, who has been hyper productive in a few starts that he's had as the starting running back, where we've seen this team is not worried about giving him 25, 30 touches a game. Looks like he is the projected starting workhorse running back. And now I will say that immediately following the Kenyon Drake decision, I thought that this team was going to be in the market for a running back. I thought that this team was possibly going to be going for someone in the NFL draft. But then you dive into the draft capital they have. And because of the DeAndre Hopkins trade last offseason, they are kind of limited currently. I mean, they have that 16th overall pick where you could possibly see a Travis Etienne fall. You've heard Travis Etienne saying he wants to go to Arizona, but I just don't think that's likely because the team doesn't have that many picks in this year's NFL draft. I mean, in the top 200 overall picks, they only have 4. One of them is that 16th overall pick, then 49th and 160th. And when we know the running back position is a luxury position, I would be surprised if we see Arizona invest one of their top 2 draft picks in this year's draft to go after running back. So I think Chase Edmonds is actually pretty safe. I think you can aggressively draft Chase Edmonds if you're playing in a best ball league right now, or you can aggressively rank him preparing for the 2021 season. Okay, so now let's bring up our last running back, James Robinson. And I know, guys, James Robinson by far and away the most talented running back on this list, and it's not even close, to be honest. But what we have to do is we have to simply address some facts. This team has no investment into James Robinson. He was an undrafted free agent, so this isn't a scenario where they spent a first-round pick on him, and then they have to go out here and prove that draft capital, and he has a contract attached to him, which would indicate that he is going to be the starting running back going forward. So that's the first thing we need to point out. Yes, he is extremely talented. He has the talent of a running back that you'd expect to go in the first round. We are not denying that. The next thing we need to point out is the fact that there is currently no depth behind James Robinson. This is why he was a dominant workhorse running back, one of the top workhorse running backs in terms of market share in his backfield that we saw in 2020. Yes, they did bring in Carlos Hyde to address some depth, but what I think here is with Jacksonville and with how many picks they have, I think they're going to take a running back like a Kenneth Gainwell to come in and not completely split this backfield 50-50, but take away 25-30% of the snaps from James Robinson, which would still have him being one of the biggest running backs in the NFL in terms of the volume he's seeing, but still not close to what he had in 2020. And the reason for this is just the draft capital that this team has. I mean, they have 2 first-round picks, they have 2 second-round picks, they have 3 third-round picks. So because of all of this, I think James Robinson, while yes, he's extremely talented, you do have to question exactly what the opportunity is going to be looking like. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton. And I will see y'all with the video tomorrow.